With mortgage interest rates still being in the 5 to 6% and the lack of homes available, there's gotta be a housing market crash coming soon, right? Well, in today's video, let's talk about what we can expect in our near future and what the results will be for the housing market said by experts and my own prediction. Before we get into it, I want to talk about the sponsor of this video, Aura. If you're like me and love saving money, you probably shared your Netflix password with your friends and family, and statistically, the average consumer has 90 accounts. It's most likely that you don't have 90 different passwords to go with each one. So if someone has one of your passwords, they probably have access to your other accounts. This can make you and your accounts extremely vulnerable to things like identity theft and fraud. And if you think that won't happen to you, just know that American consumers lost $56 billion from identity theft in 2020. And that's a lot of money. This is why I've partnered with the sponsor of this video, Aura. Aura is an identity theft protection, fraud monitoring, a VPN, password management, and antivirus software all combined in one easy to use app that monitors the dark web for your emails, passwords, your social security number, and quickly sends alerts right to your phone and email. I've dealt with fraud and I know with fraud, every second matters. I love Aura because it can connect my credit and bank accounts and notify me of any changes up to 4 times faster than Aura's other competitors. Aura's VPN allows me to stay anonymous online by keeping my browser history and personal info safe and encrypted. And the best part is that Aura's antivirus software will block malware and viruses before they infect devices. Aura found my personal information on the dark web 5 times in the past 2 weeks. So stay safe and start your 2-week free trial today at aura.com/justlean. Once you sign up, don't forget to comment down below how many times your personal info was found. Back to the video, let's talk about the housing market. So will there be a housing market crash in 2022? Short answer is no. Here's the reason. The housing market is far better shape than it was in the housing market crash in 2027 to 2008. There are 3 main reasons why there won't be a crash like 2007. Number 1 is going to be the mortgage lending regulation. Now, mortgage lending regulations back in 2007 were not as uptight as they were right now, which led to subprime borrowing, which is one of the main reasons of the housing crash. Now, today, lending of mortgages have regulations and are tighter. And this is why an average borrower has a credit score of 752 compared to 699 in 2008. Now, the second reason why there won't be a housing market crash is because of adjustable rate mortgages. Now, adjustable rate mortgages are fixed mortgages, usually in terms of 5, 7, or 10 years. Now, currently, we have the lowest volume on record with only 2.5 million or about 8% active mortgages. When there was no lending regulations in 2007, it was at the record high. And this is the reason why it led to a lot of foreclosures. There were about 13.1 million adjustable rate mortgages, representing about 36% of all mortgages back then. Now, number 3 is going to be mortgage delinquency. Now, mortgage delinquencies are just home loans where the borrower is late on 1 or more payments. Now, currently, mortgage delinquencies are record low at under 3% past due. And this is because even after COVID, pandemic-related mortgage forbearance programs have helped borrowers with backed payments, which is helping the housing market. All that being said, when can we see a housing market crash? Well, we can never predict. Personally, I can't predict, but there are warning signs of when a housing market crash can happen. Now, one of them is going to be a decreased economy growth, which means that the economy is just doing bad and it just plummets. Or number 2, you see a rising mortgage balances where people aren't paying their mortgages, they have late payments. Number 3 is climbing subprime mortgage loans or adjustable rate mortgages. People are having more adjustable rate mortgages instead of 30-year mortgages, which can cause more foreclosures in the future because people can't afford homes. Or you see a rising loan to income levels where the loan is just not justified by the income level that people are making. So are we going to have a housing bubble then instead? Well, some people say that we're entering a housing bubble. And a housing bubble is when there's a high demand of homes, a surplus supply of homes. Homes are just easily obtainable. But currently, there have been more supply of homes due to new home buyers just giving up because it's way too expensive and just holding off, but it no means mean that they're easily obtainable. And on top of this, buyers are actually more qualified these days to purchase and not go into foreclosures back in 2007. On top of that, with supply being so low compared to normal levels, if there was a rush of just homes being available on the market, it wouldn't just drastically have a price change like 2007. With all of that factored in, where are we in the housing market then, right? I would say that we're in something called a soft housing market, where it's just a temporary correction period, where there's being more inventory coming in, but just less competition and just a rise of inflation, which means that home prices are cooling down a little bit compared to last year. And this is because the higher priced homes are beginning to max out buyer's budget. On top of that, there's a 5 to 6% interest on homes, which means that for the same home that you would have purchased 2 years ago, it could cost you $500 to $1,000 or $2,000 more on your mortgage every single month. Now, things are slowly cooling down, but not at the pace of 2 years ago. And until inflation and the supply of homes are back to where they are, the home prices won't be cooling back to normal too soon. And what I mean by normal, it's going to be expensive more than 2 years ago, as housing does increase about 7 to 8% every single year. So when knowing that factor, we're looking at something that's a little bit more expensive in the norm of that 7 to 8 years of that 2 years ago. Now, what's going to happen in the future of the year, right? Well, the pandemic, the supply chain, just inflation just has made the real estate market very different compared to any other year. Despite all of this happening, in my own prediction, and you can take this as a grain of salt, by the end of this year, knowing that the feds are going to raise home interest rates and just going to have maybe a little bit more greater supply of homes, the home prices are still going to be higher than now, but not at a significant amount by the end of this year. Now, this is my prediction, being a real estate agent and researching tons and tons of reports by experts, but take it as you will. While inventory is rising slowly, eventually there's going to be a cooling home price growth where it's going to be at least a little bit affordable. And especially because first-time home buyers are the ones who are fueling the housing market in the future. So if they can't afford homes in the future, then it's just going to be a housing market happening just like 2007. Ultimately, I predict that there is not going to be a housing market crashes, but just a correction into the market. Now, in the next 5 years, as more homes will be built and the economy is back to normal, we will see housing market normalize to a consistent market value. But until then, we'll continue to see home prices increase and interest going up to combat a housing market crash that could eventually happen. With that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it thought it was informative. If you did, make sure you guys like and subscribe to this channel. Also, make sure you guys check out Aura at aura.com/JustinLee for a free trial. With that being said, guys, I hope you guys have a great one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.